clase. So, just to review what we talked about last week, ER verbs are those verbs that end in ER, and the endings are o, es, e, amos, ace, and n, right? IR verbs are those verbs that end in IR. So we have o, es, e, emos, is, and n, right? So our new verb today is tener. It means to have. To have. It's irregular. Okay? Any guess what the ill form is?
Tango.
Tango. We call it a go verb because there's the word go in it. Right? So it is an ER verb, but so far it doesn't follow the pattern. The to form is tienes. T-I-E-N-E-S. So once again, it doesn't follow the pattern. It ends in ES. Third person is tiene. So kind of, we kind of have our endings O, ace, a, but the other part, the stem is a little bit different. So tango, tienes, tiene. Can I say repitan? Tango, tienes, tiene. All right, now the nosotros, it does follow the pattern. Where we take off the ER and add EMS. Tenemos, we have. No tenemos, we don't have. The vosotros, tenéis, follows the pattern. T-E-N, add E-I-S. E has an accent. But third person is different. Tienen, T-I-E-N-E-N. Por favor, acá se repitan. Tenemos, tenéis, tienen. Awesome. So if you want to say what you have or don't have, tengo libro, no tengo libro, etc. See? Same subjects that we have with other verbs. Yo, tú, ele, usted, name, singular, noun. Nosotros, nosotros, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. A name, plural noun, plural subject. So how do we use this? Different ways, of course, just you want to say what you have or don't have, use a form of tener. But when we use this expression, tener, que plus an infinitive. So in Spanish, sometimes when we put a bunch of words together, it expresses a phrase. If you try to translate word for word, it doesn't mean the same thing. This is one where we put some words together and expresses this concept. To have to. When you have to do something, use a form of tener, the word que, and then the infinitive. The infinitive is the thing that you have to do. So if I say, I have to run. I have to run. I have, what's the old form of tener? Tango. What word do I have to put next? Que. What's the infinitive? What's the action I'm doing? Correr. Running, absolutely. So tengo que correr. If I want to say she has to study, or make it negative, she does not have to study. She does not have to study. Ella, I want to make it negative. What's the ella form of tener? Tiene. Ella no tiene que, what did I say, study, right? Want to keep that in the infinitive? Estudiar. Ella no tiene que estudiar. She doesn't have to study. So if you want to express what you have to do, tener, que, plus an infinitive. The infinitive is the action you're doing. Another common phrase with this is tener ganas de plus an infinitive again. The infinitive that we're adding is always the action. So tener que plus infinitive, what you have to do, this expresses to feel like. To feel like. So if I want to say, I feel like running, I feel like running, I'd use the yo form of tener, which is tango. My next word is ganas. It's always going to be ganas. Tengo ganas de. What's my infinitive? What's my action? What do I feel like doing? Running. So, correr. Okay? Tengo ganas de correr. So if you want to express what you have to do, is to have to, tener ganas de, to feel like. Tener que plus infinitive, tener ganas de plus infinitive. We'll use those a bunch. There's actually a bunch of tener phrases that we're going to talk about a little bit today. The other verbs, that was one of the verbs. The other one is venir, which means to come. Why do we put them together? They're very similar. So if they're very similar, what's the yo form of venir? Vengo. Right. I don't know if I mentioned this, but we call these go verbs because they have the word go in the yo form. Vengo. What would be the to form then? Vienes. Yeah. Tu vienes. What's third person? That's tiene. This one is viene. Awesome. This is an IR verb, so our stem is VEN. It's the IR ending for the nosotros. Imos. Awesome. VEN, vosotros. Is, third person plural, vienen. Vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, venís, vienen. See? So when you use the verb venir, to come, you typically use one of these prepositions. De or a. What does de mean? From. So I might say, vengo de la cafeteria. Vengo del gimnasio. Vengo del laboratorio. Or I might say, vengo a, which means to. Vengo a la clase. I come to class. Vengo a la cafeteria. So typically after venir, if there's a location after, like where you're coming from or coming to, you have to have one of those prepositions. Just like in English. Ready? Bien. So,